I mean, my mindset is like 98% of the population is not bad people, or just in bad spots. And so,
That is a great
yeah,
perspective.
and so like there's some people that are really bad, but if there's anything that's the public scrutiny about, it's like, man, there's a lot of really good women, men and women that are doing this job at its highest levels.
Yes.
And I feel if there's going to be a camera or a microphone in my face, that I present that.
Welcome to the JC Barnett podcast, where we bring you real conversations about community, leadership, faith, and empowering the next generation. I'm your host, JC Barnett, and together we'll explore stories that inspire growth in life. Today's episode is proudly supported by JC Barnett School of Jump Shooting, the Lady Stars Basketball Organization, and JC Barnett Jr., investing in young people and leaders to reach their full potential. Let's get right into it today. Mr. Fourkiller, how are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure to have you here talking with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. We go back a ways.
Yes.
We attended school together. I believe you were class of 05.
Yeah. I kind of left a little early, but 04, but
Okay.
technically 05. I graduated midterm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were really close to me
Yeah.
and our boy Adam Martin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who, great friend of mine, played a lot of basketball together.
Yeah.
And I knew that you guys were really good friends.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
good friends. But and it's funny because as we were growing up, and especially now that you and I are grown,
Yes.
and having conversations with our dads and stuff, I realize how close our dads were at one time in school.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
And he just shared some things about experience, friendship in school and in life and stuff like that, and all of the good times that they had. And so now to have a relationship together, our kids playing sports together and having gone through school together, just very cool.
It's very special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially growing up and being around this community all of our life.
Yeah.
So, very cool.
I tell people that all the time. Kokomo, for me, has been a wonderful place to grow up, been a wonderful place to raise a family and to work here. And I'm happy, much like myself, you and many other people that we grew up and went to school with who are doing positive things in the community and have really smart and brilliant minds, that we actually stayed in our community and are doing positive things.
I would say that's testament to having good mentors in your life.
Absolutely.
I've had a lot of good people in my life put me in the right direction and tell me when things are probably not the best way to go and more efficient ways to go. So I thank them.
You're a third-generation police officer?
Yes, sir.
And a lieutenant, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Your family's history in law enforcement, how did that shape your decision to go into the force?
Well, I never really had a choice.
Mm.
It was awesome. I mean, I think I had a pretty unique life growing up underneath my family. I always knew what I wanted to do, and that's not something that everyone grows up knowing what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
As I got older, I kind of realized some people don't have the right direction, and now I'm obligated to kind of tell them, like, hey, this is how I grew up, and maybe they'll get more inspired of, like, maybe pursuing it quicker or with better intent. But being around that my entire life has always been, I've always never wanted anything do anything different. I can sit here and tell you, and not to ever get like kind of emotional about it though, but it's always meant something big to me in my life. But how many people have you met in your life that have actually lived out their dream?
Wow.
And I would tell you, I mean, the first everything I've ever had was police stuff ever since I was born, and I've lived up my dream. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I knew exactly what I wanted to do in steps. And when it actually came true, I'm like, dang, I did it. Everybody wants to be like making millions of dollars and being professional athletes and stuff like that. But, man, I wanted to be a patrolman in the Kokomo Police Department. And I had opportunities to go across the nation to do so. And they're right in my hand. And then my dad came to me one day and he goes, what do you want, son? I go, I just want to be around you guys.
Yeah.
So that's where the family aspect of like being surrounded by really good people and having the right direction kept me here in Kokomo. But man, I've lived up my dream. I can die tell you that, say yes. And so you don't meet that many people that say I live my dream. So I'm doing it right now.
That's incredible. I certainly agree with you. What we do, what we become, and what we do as adults is absolutely shaped by the examples that we had. And I take every opportunity I can to tell my dad this himself, because I've watched him be for decades a youth mentor, a youth football, basketball coach, whatever sport, you name it. And just watched how he engaged young people, and just try to emulate that and be that myself. And it turned out to be very much an acquired thing, because me and my dad, we don't have the same personality.
Yeah.
If you meet my dad, he doesn't know a stranger in the room. He goes out of his way to pursue people and track them down and have conversations and talk. I'm not that.
I've been on the other side of that, and that's very, very. It's a good feeling.
Yes, yes. And I'm more introverted, but I've acquired the ability to be able to do that because I've watched him do it for so long.
Yeah.
And it's just a tremendous blessing, especially for the work that I'm able to do now as executive director of Carver Community Center, engage with hundreds of people, families, and children on a daily basis and on a yearly basis. And that's important to be able to do that. How have you found that in your role with the PD, just those things that you've acquired from watching your example?
I don't think in my family there's been a lot of community officers, you know what I mean, that are like engaged with the community or actively engaged with it. I kind of found it myself in high school. I didn't even play any sports. I skateboarded all through high school, but I've never been a fan of. I've always like looked out for the people that are like being bullied, and I've always wanted to interject with them and be able to help them and be like a mentor for them. But and so my dad was always very active in the law enforcement aspect of it, though, but never with I would say a little bit with the community, but now it's my role. But I think being opposite of somebody, you know what I mean? It's like your significant other at home. You're usually opposites attract.
Right.
But I've also been around some really, really good people, like friend-wise, and they've always been active in the community. So I'm like, it's always been easy for me to kind of open up and share my experience. But also growing up in law enforcement, I've always wanted to tell people like how exciting it was for me and show them maybe an easy avenue to get into this profession. And it's not always, rainbows and butterflies. There's just some things that you got to deal with. But I think it's just me being young and excited about what I'm doing, and wanted everybody to be involved with it. Really,
that's great. I know what it is to be kind of a forward-facing individual, a person who is kind of there as the face of a program or an organization, and somewhat as the lieutenant, as that is kind of your role, from what I understand, in terms of maybe a significant event happens in the community and maybe you need to speak with a media source. How did you acquire those gifts and skills to be able to do that? How do you feel about that role? And how do you feel like that, maybe not the affects is the right terminology for how you go about your daily life, but what are just your thoughts about that role?
Being a public face, I mean, my job is to always be transparent.
Yeah.
And that comes up with, when we do good, but also when we come up short. And then also protecting the integrity of the department and its profession.
Yes.
It's sometimes not easy to do, especially when we come up short. But the transparency and having the trust within the community is always it should be easy. But some days it's difficult to navigate that. But also you have internal problems with the politics of the departments. But if you have the right mindset and you have the right baseline, especially coming from your household, it should be pretty easy to navigate all that stuff, because if you're using external conflicts, it could cause internal conflicts between you and trying to be with the public, though. But I've always integrated the mindset with especially newer officers that they pay me for 8 hours, but the 16 hours I'm away from my profession is where I make my real money at. And so how I sleep, how I eat, how I greet my family, how I take care of my business or my, my house, my cars, my finances. And then it should be fun because getting into depression, I never was going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I always did it because I believed in what it meant to do this job. But having everything kind of like secured at home allows me to kind of like be in a good mindset when I come out here, though. But sometimes the public scrutiny, it will weigh on you a little bit, though. But I still believe each and every day what I'm doing is what I should be doing for me.
Absolutely. How long have you been on the force?
I've been here almost 16 years. I did a couple years in Arkansas. So, man, back in the day, like in 2008, 2009, when the recession hit, I had to, they were not hiring. So I had to find a different avenue. Right. And then I tested for Las Vegas Metro PD when I was 20 years old.
No idea.
And I got hired by them. And I said no to them when my dad walked in and said, "What do you want to do?" And then I said, "I'm going to just be here." Be careful what you wish for. Man, you don't think it's true, but it is true. Yeah. And you want all these things. You want these things right away. But when it does happen, you got to make some big changes. And I just want to be with my family. And then I went to, they weren't hiring still. So I had a cousin in Arkansas who's a police officer. And I said, "Hey, man, like, is there any way I can start my career down there?" And I was like, "Yep." And then as soon as that came up, I was ready to roll. And took me a little time to get on here, though, but I finally got on. And I almost got like 18 years in. Wow. So I'm getting up there, man.
That is incredible.
I know.
I mean, that just doesn't even sound right. I know that we recently hit our 20-year reunion for high school.
I know.
But to hear that you've been working almost that long, that is crazy.
I know. I was a corrections officer too, so I worked in the jail a little bit, and that's a whole nother world. But yeah, I seen that 20-year reunion, and I'm like, oh no, man, like. But you know what? I've been aging gracefully. I feel like I feel like I'm
you
still feel
like
pretty
you did
good.
When we were in high school. That is
that's
crazy
good, man. Same thing with you, man. I ain't mad about it.
No, definitely not. We're aging gracefully. I thank the Lord for great genes.
Yes.
And so after all these years, how are you still finding your motivation and your passion every single day? I feel like you touched on that just a little bit, but maybe go a little bit deeper into what exactly that thing is.
I tell everybody that gets hired on, for me, like I said, I live my dream. I'm still living my dream. To go back on day one when you raise your right hand and you receive your badge, like to go back and never forget that feeling.
Yeah.
Motivating still, that is, but also like, am I accountable? Like I love being accountable for my family. I love being, trying to be my son's hero as long as I can. Yeah. But that also comes being accountable for the people that I work next to. It's one of my biggest fears is that when I show up to a critical incident and the people I work with, my coworkers, and they don't think I'm accountable for them. So motivating for me, I've always been like a physical person. I've always wanted to, be able to perform my duties physically. But if it comes to that point where when they really need me and I'm not there, and like that's motivating enough. You know what I mean? The other stuff, it just comes with it though. But each day, I mean, I still believe what the very first day I showed up to work, I'm like, man, it's still my dream. I'm still doing it. And one day it'll be over. As of right now, my lifetime, if I look back and I'm a 60-year-old man, I look back in my 20-year career, like this was the highlight of my life. Yeah. And I haven't forgotten that. Right now I'm living in the good old days. Yeah. And I haven't forgot about that. Just like when your kids are little, right? Like if you like take a split second and think about, man, I'm living in the good old days right now with my kids, then you'll probably enjoy it and remember it. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
I am one of those dads who I'm always hugging, I'm always loving, and I'm always giving kisses on top of the head. And they're like, "Dad, come on, man." But that is not lost on me. I know that right now is the greatest time of being a dad and a parent. Yeah. And I just don't want to let go of it. I tell them all the time, I don't want you to grow up. Yeah, Can you stay 6, Ava? You know what? I mean, that's just me.
My dad told me when I was very young, he goes, there's going to be times in your career or in your life where you need to take like just a second and think about what you're doing, how it feels, how it smells, how the process was to get here. Yeah. And if you think about it, more than likely, you'll never forget it. So there's been times where I've been out in the call, I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. Like I'm living my dream. I'm young. I got a healthy family. I'm healthy. I'm like, this is very cool. And in those times I haven't forgotten. They're kind of like right there in the back of my mind.
Yeah. I noticed you lately, and not only from seeing it on social media, but also in the community with these young new officers that you're in leadership training.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is your approach to leadership, not only for young people, but especially to mentoring young officers coming onto the force?
Trying to keep that standard.
Mm-hmm.
The academy, when you go to the academy, you come out and you have the basic requirements and you fulfill them, but maintaining the standard that it's expected from the community. When you call the police and you need something right now, because you rarely should call the police, but when you need them, you expect a professional to show up. Yeah. So I try to maintain that with the rookies, or then somebody just really shows up, but also like the veteran officers, like they probably need additional motivation. I'm not saying I'm the motivation only though, but like I can only control what I can't control.
Right.
But maintain the standard for as long as possible is the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine that in your role, there are some challenges that you face. What do you believe to be, go into as much as you want to, both internally and externally, some of the challenge that you might face with your role?
As I get into more of a leadership role and becoming throughout the ranks, it's not always right there, but like sometimes it could be like internal politics, within the department, maybe losing sight of like what we're really doing the very first day, what we thought we were going to do.
Yeah.
But that's a rare occasion. But when it comes there, I mean, I try to keep the professionalism as high as possible. But when you go out there to the external parts, the public scrutiny some days, like, cause not everybody's a bad person, just like I deal with there. I mean, my mindset is like 98% of the population is not bad people, they're just in bad spots. And so
that is a great
and so like there's some people that are really bad, but if there's anything that's the public scrutiny about, it's like, man, there's a lot of really good men and women that are doing this job at its highest levels.
Yes.
And I feel if there's going to be a camera or a microphone in my face, that I present that. And if there's somebody doing wrong, that's not how I live. That's not how I live outside this uniform. Yeah. My identity is not with this uniform. Yeah. My identity is how I am with, number one, faith, and then with my family and friends. Absolutely. I'm just Charlie. I'm not officer. You know what I mean? So I just try to maintain that perspective on this profession.
Yeah. You said something really impactful in our conversation off camera. And it really puts things into perspective when you consider what law enforcement really have to deal with. You mentioned the fact that in my lifetime, somebody who is not in law enforcement, that I might see maybe 1, 2, 3 really critical incidences in my life. And that is very few instances that I'll ever experience. Or most people will experience it, but for you, that might look like hundreds.
It could be hundreds. It could be multiple a day. Man. And from our training, we try to implement something that they can rely on, and how they can compartmentalize their feelings and how they process of what's going on. This day and age now is like, I feel like our department's doing very well with that. Yeah. Immediately planting that in the officers that are day one showing up. And then trying to expose the veteran officers too as well, like, hey, there is another avenue besides, it could be substance abuse or just mental like awareness. I mean, we're trying to create good officers not only for just 20 years, but for the rest of their life. Right. But the critical incidents, they can deal with it multiple times. And I'm telling you right now, like if you go to Chipotle, I know cops like Chipotle, right? I can promise you, like if you see one of us, we just got off a very, very bad critical incident. Wow. And you would never know better. But so our department's obligated to provide training that they can utilize to not only process that, but and think of that like operational experience and move forward to become better and better officers. But yeah, it's a lot compared to the average citizen, but that's what we sign up for. But I don't always want to use that, hey, that's what we signed up for, that's what you get. Right. You know what I mean? Like our department should provide ways to cope with those kind of things. Absolutely. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I carry a gun for a living. You know what I mean? But it's something that'll wear on the officers day in and day after, especially you got like, most people do in the military 4 to maybe 10 years or something like that. But you got an officers out here right now, they're doing 35 years of it. So every now and then, just sometimes they need a little bit of grace, because they may not be reactive to you when you say what's up at Chipotle. They're like, hey man, they're kind of figuring it out though. But we're making really good strides as a department, and especially as a profession nationally, that we can give these officers immediate access to ways to cope with these kind of things. But you got to have experience with it.
For sure. And so that kind of is a great segue into this next question in reference to the relationship between the Kokomo Police Department, or any police PD across the nation and across the world, and the relationship between the community. What does that look like for you in the next year? What does that look like in the next 5, 10 decades from now? How do you want that to develop?
I think it's always like, it's a repetitive thing. Like we always gotta be transparent. Keeping the trust within the public. But active engagement throughout the community. I mean, just like this, I don't know for a fact that we've had an officer in uniform participate in a podcast. In reality, like, I'm a little nervous before I walk up here, because I'm like, I want to say the right things, but actively engaging, because this could touch somebody, or let somebody hear this. Maybe they think the perspective wasn't that best on the police, and now they see us like, hey, you can actually talk and see what they're kind of like. They're just normal people, day in, day out, normal men and women. But I see that we have to maintain the transparency. 100%. The social media is not always the best thing. You know what I mean? So actively engaging your own community, from either like the smallest public events to large public events. And so they can have like they can touch base with us, like, face to face. It's just we have to do it more often.
For sure.
So I'm excited about it. I got no problem with it. I think a lot of officers and young officers, they want to be part of that, because that's when you actually get to see the people that actually do care about you. And they want to see you do good. I mean, because there's a lot of people that do love us. And but also we're trying to do the best we can.
Right. And I love the effort. And I know there was probably some flack and backlash from the training facility being right in the middle of the neighborhood on the northeast side of Kokomo. But to be quite honest with you, especially when I seen that video of you guys training and running through the streets of the community, I thought, what an incredible opportunity for neighborhood and people to just see them be people. Be people who are just running and trying to get a workout in, obviously for the purpose of staying fit for their for their job. But still, if they saw a citizen and had an opportunity to say hi, just think about how that could change perspective.
It's huge, especially when you're really young. You know what I mean? So I love it, the fact that it's in the north end of Kokomo. I grew up in the north end of Kokomo. You know what I mean? And if it was in the south end, we'd all know, like, oh, it's in the south end of Kokomo. But when the opportunity came up there, there was zero hesitation about location. It was a must for us, so we can come out and be as true professionals for you guys. You know what I mean? And plus, we take pride in that. The fact that we're doing our training and they guys can see us do a training. I mean, a lot of our training is actually in public. I mean, if you go up here to the Boulevard 931, we do our EVOC training, which is emergency vehicle operations. So you kind of see us driving fast with lights on and stuff like that, though. But that place, man, I'm super excited to be a part of in my lifetime. I mean, that's rare for departments to, and especially during your tenure, to be a part of. But the fact that we can kind of run down the street and they're like, hey, what's kind of going on? I'm like, hey, man, this is. I tell people all the time, like, we produce officers. We teach them how to police their own community. They go to a basic law enforcement academy. They come out, and it's just the basic. And then we can try to tell them, like, hey, this is how we police in Kokomo. And these are people that you'll be dealing with. There's a neighborhood you'll be showing up to. So never be afraid to be, like, in the same neighborhood. And if you take scrutiny, hey, it's part of it, and we'll deal with it. But it gives you a little confidence in what you're doing. So, but it also gives trust again, the transparency and trust of the community. Like, hey, this is what we're doing out here. Like, we're trying to actively get better each and every day. We're not doing things because we've always done them that way. We're always trying to change it up a little bit. But yeah, I love the fact that it's in the north end of Kokomo, and we've had some like really cool events. We just had a 5K
Wow.
like earlier this year, so we had an idea. I'm like, we got this training center. We raised money, and the money that was the building was given to us through the mayor, but we needed like extra stuff in there, right? So we went to the community, and at the time, man, you really don't know like how people are going to react to it, and like, hey, we got this idea, and would you like to provide any money? And people were just starting giving us money right away,
Man.
and so we got to maintain the building.
Right.
So we did a 5K, and basically my boss and my friend, Captain Zach Rodman, we said, and Major Scott Bertie were like, let's do a 5K, and we'll run from the training center around downtown Kokomo and come back to the training center. We'll set up shop right on Bell Street, run off of Monroe down Apperson. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is gonna be the coolest thing. And who else is gonna see that? Like, it didn't happen in my neighborhood, and so, and we're right there. We'll be taking like with the following hour, we may be taking calls right there, or a critical incident happens, and it was cool to see because people walk in their house like, what's going on? Because it's probably never happened. You know what I mean? Let's like think about like in that area, like have you ever seen anybody run? Have you ever seen? I think we had over 100 people that are running down the street, blocked off and stuff. So it's very cool. You know what I mean? Very cool to be part of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, third generation police officer. And when you think about your legacy and what kind of impact do you hope to leave on both the department and the community that you serve, what does that look like?
Trust and professionalism. It's not only about what you always done, but how you make people feel at the end of it. I know that's used a lot. I've learned off other people too, and I'm like, I like it. Nobody's gonna remember how many days I show up to work. They're gonna remember how I had to make them feel, though. But if I can leave a legacy of, with my own family, that I did a good job at the time when I was away from them, then that means the most. For the public, that even when I retire and I'm done, that they would say I did trust it at that moment. And I hope to instill that in the department, that you have to continue that transparency and trust to after when I'm gone. It's not an easy road, but it's nothing in life that is worth having comes easy. And I've accepted that, and I always push forward. So I love the fact that when somebody shows up, they're like, man, I trusted what I thought was going to come. I think this person's going to show up, and I did. I trusted. That's what showed up. A true professional, and I'll always be prideful of that.
That's beautiful, man. Lieutenant Charlie Fourkiller, I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Brother.
Thank you for having me, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the JC Barnett podcast. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think and to live with more intention. And be reminded that you have the power of your mind, your heart, your faith, and solid support systems. This episode was brought to you by JC Barnett School of Jump Shooting, the Lady Stars Basketball Organization, and JC Barnett Jr., dedicated to helping young people grow in skill, confidence, and in character. Don't forget to share, to subscribe, and to join us next time for more stories of empowerment, leadership, and life lessons. Until then, JC Barnett, thank you for tuning in.